Alexander Rossi, switching to the number 20, Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet in 2025, beginning his 10th season in the NTT INDYCAR Series. Of course, an 8-time winner in the series, looking to add more with a bit of a new look team, a lot of changes for Ed Carpenter Racing heading into 2025. And I know you're ready to get back on the track. You got to wait a couple weeks
Yeah,
before you do that, but you're looking forward to getting started.
for sure. I think the team is changing at a rapid rate, which is pretty exciting to witness and be a part of. And I think that there's a lot of excitement internally about the things that are going on. So it's certainly a busy time for everyone involved, and I think we're all still trying to find our place a little bit in somewhat of a totally new organization, but it's going really well, and the experience that I've had so far has been nothing short of awesome. So looking forward to getting on track in February at Sebring, and then seeing where that takes us for the first week of March.
You did have an opportunity to hop on the Indianapolis Oval with the team. So did that help kind of break the ice a little bit as you look into this offseason?
Yeah, for sure. That was a good one to get under our belt, kind of right before the super long break kicked off, and the car and team operated at a level that you would expect based on their previous results and past performances at Indianapolis. So that was a pretty seamless day, and an exciting day for everyone to have our new partners in Splenda and Java House on board and represented. And it's, as I said, it's growing and changing every day. So what you saw in October, it's going to be a very different look come February and March.
Yep. Look with the new logo that was announced yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
And so on and so forth. All right, Steve Wittich, lead us off.
What is it a successful season for Alexander Rossi this year? What does it look like at the end of the year?
It's being in the conversation and having an opportunity to win at Indy, which I think is to be expected of ECR and myself. And then I think that I don't really have an expectation quite yet because I haven't driven the car, so I don't really know what I don't know at this point. I'll be able to answer that question a little bit better after the test in February.
Kind of a related question to Steve's. It's a very different challenge, a different team dynamic than what you've been a part of, I imagine, since you joined IndyCar, an Andretti team that was used to being at the top of sport, winning 500s, competing for championships, an Air McLaren team that wasn't quite there but still had really high aspirations for that. And now you join ECR at a time where this team's won races. They've been towards the top of the championship a time or two, but maybe haven't quite been from a consistent performance standpoint with at a level that you've competed at the last couple of years. So is this an intriguing, exciting new chapter for you, joining a team that's a little bit different and trying to maybe take it to a different place than what you've been doing the last couple of years?
That's a good question. I don't really look at it that way so much as, I think if you ask everyone at the organization, where they've been the past couple of years is not where they want to be, where they expect to be. And so there was the effort and the search, I guess is the right term, maybe, for how do they and we now as an organization change what the past couple of years have been. And, this series is so competitive, and there is every year more cars and drivers that are capable of winning. Like, what do we need to do from a staffing, investment, procedure, mindset standpoint to bridge the gap and make the step that everyone else is making? So that's a work in progress. That doesn't happen overnight, but I certainly think that, steps are being made in the right direction, steps that are very, very cool to see. So I think that there's the potential to surprise a lot of people at points in 2025. Obviously, as I said, like, nothing happens overnight. We're not going to go from, the results that have existed the past couple of years to all of a sudden winning every race sort of thing. But I do think that everything in this sport is very small margins. So it's not we've often talked about, like this car's been around for so long. It's not that there's some magic thing out there. It's about putting puzzle pieces together correctly and executing efficiently, and that can add up to results pretty quickly. So, we have the tools and resources, and are gathering the tools and resources that didn't necessarily exist in the past, and that's opening doors and opportunities for what should be a step forward for the organization in 25. And then obviously, to answer the first part of your question, yeah, this is a long-term thing that I'm a part of, and something that's very exciting to be a part of, to contribute to, and to do it alongside someone that I have a very good working and personal relationship with, Ed. It's something that I feel like we as a group, Ed, myself, Christian, Ted Gelov from Harland, we can all do as this kind of foursome and push things forward and get the results that we want.
This may be a little bit of a tough question for you to answer, because you were onboarded at ECR as Ted was coming on board as well, with the influx of funding and support from him and Heartland. But as best as you know, how much, how big of an improvement can funding and new ideas and a partnership like that bring to this team, and what you guys can do in 25 in the future versus where they have been the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a hard question. I mean, I think that what we've seen in this sport, and we've seen in other championships, like funding and money isn't the solution to everyone's problems, right? It certainly gives you the capability to, have a better rate of development. It gives you the opportunity to maybe entice people into your organization and that sort of thing. But it's still about the people. And I do think that, a lot of the main people that have been at ECR, that are at ECR currently, have been there for a very long time. There's a lot of loyalty in that organization, and there's a very close-knit group of individuals that, in their own right and together, are very, very good at what they do. They just maybe not had all of the tools, resources, and people to help them, deliver the results that they are capable of. So I think, number one is people. Number two is growing the good people and creating that environment. And then number three is, having the available funds to go do the projects and build the things that you need to do.
And on a totally different note, for my last question, I imagine you may have seen the commercial that Fox put out on Sunday with Josef. And it was a lot been said and celebrated on that type of marketing and the angle they took in trying to promote Josef and lift the sport up as this new relationship gets going. What were your thoughts on what you saw on Sunday, and what you've seen over the last couple of months as this momentum has built toward Fox airing IndyCar for the full season in 25 and beyond?
I didn't know Josef was. I just thought it was a Tom Brady commercial.
Alex Palou commercial. Yeah.
My guy. No, I thought it was. I thought it's great. I think is a commercial with Josef or a commercial with Pato or Alex going to change the perception of IndyCar racing? No. Is it a huge step in a direction that we've all been looking for in terms of, out of the box thinking and, cool, trendy marketing and all of the buzzword stuff that you want to be a part of and be doing? Yeah, 100%. So I think this partnership with Fox has been talked about, at length in terms of the positivities that it's going to bring from a TV viewership standpoint. But I think the thing that's possibly the most impressive / most important in my mind, and I think a lot of the drivers' minds, is the kind of the push that they're putting behind it with their other properties, right? Bringing in, people like Tom Brady, who are Fox employees, pushing it during, the biggest sporting weeks of the year in the NFL playoffs, and really using their other avenues of promotion to elevate the NTT IndyCar Series is what we've needed and wanted. And, obviously it's going to take more than a couple commercials, but this is a huge step in the right direction and something that is very, very awesome to be a part of. And I don't think any of us could be more excited and thankful for what they've done and can't wait to see what they do in the future.
Go ahead, Tony.
You kind of touched on this. I think when you got here in 2016, you probably didn't know a lot of people. And then, you had to learn 3 or 4 different teams really when you went to McLaren as far as all those employees. But do you feel you're a little bit maybe ahead of schedule? You have that test from October. You and Ed are close friends, live down the road, the close-knit community that you said ECR has. Do you feel like you're closer to having those results earlier, or sometimes for drivers they go to a new team and it takes a half season, even a full season to start seeing results? Do you feel like that camaraderie is there because it is such a small group?
Yeah, I think we have a couple things going for us. Number one is that, as you mentioned, I've known Matt Barnes for a really long time as well. So having the relationship on the engineering side right out of the box is huge. We already kind of speak the same language in a lot of different ways. But also I think the other big thing is, yes, in 2023 going to Arrow McLaren was a big transition, but the biggest transition was really Honda to Chevy. And so being able to stay in the Team Chevy family and not have to go through that driving style transition that I kind of had to do from 22 to 23, I think is really the thing that'll put us on the front foot more than anything else.
Anyone else? Danny, you got your mic? David? Ben, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, Happy New Year. Have you set yourself any targets for the upcoming season?
Probably should. So no. Let me work on that.
Check back.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Eric Smith.
Alexander,
You're good?
10th season. It's hard to believe already. Now that you've evaluated your previous 9, have you accomplished what you'd like to accomplish? I know you won the Indy 500, but I'm sure a championship would be on the line too. But how would you evaluate the first 9 years? I know you obviously still got a runway left, but just your thoughts on 9 years in the series, and now you got number 10 coming here in this season.
Oh yeah, I mean it goes fast. I think that it's very easy to look back on. I think any athlete looks back on the missed opportunities more than the success. That's just the nature of the business. But you also have to remind yourself that you're entering 10 years, a decade of driving race cars, and being able to have a pretty good understanding of what my future is going to be for quite some time. It gives you the foundation to really have an unlimited view of what is possible. I think that there's certainly challenges ahead. I've certainly dealt with my share of challenges the past couple of years. But to be able to do it with ultimately friends is a pretty unique opportunity, and one where I think it's going to be able to really push each other forward to go do the things we want to do. So I think there's a lot of lessons learned. I think there's some good times. I still lose sleep over the bad times, but it's all motivation for what we have coming up in the future.
And speaking of lessons learned, I was going to ask, it could be nothing, but notice you went to a lot of IU football games this year. You've got a horse. Is there any kind of, I feel like the horse, IU, like kind of the underrated story, and coming to ECR, maybe the underrated story. Any lessons learned from watching IU football, seeing that culture, owning a horse? I mean, just anything.
Interesting. That's a very good question. Owning a horse, probably not. I don't think so. It's motorsports and horse racing are very similar, though. Like there's so many variables that exist, right? In racing, we all know about. You add into that racing plus an animal. Like there's obviously a lot you can't control, but still takes a team and a common goal and a common culture, which ties in very well to the next part of your question with IU football. I I didn't really go to traditional college, so my knowledge of college sports was none. And then my friend group got very excited about IU football this year for obvious reasons. And so I went to my first two college games this year, and not knowing anything about really IU's college football past, but seeing and understanding what the power of one person can do, right? We often talk about culture. We often talk about it's the people that are the most important element, and all of those things are true. But it really only takes one person to offer a new approach, a new way of thinking, and getting people to buy into that. And you can see the results that come from that. So that's an inspiration, I think, for anyone that is either an athlete or looking to do something in business or in life, that it just takes one to make a difference. So I'm now a Hoosier fan for, I guess, life, because that's how college football fandom works. And look forward to next year. Yeah.
Season tickets?
My buddy already has them, so okay. I think we're locked in there.
You got a sweatshirt?
I do have a sweatshirt, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some hat? Do you tailgate? What's the experience?
So we were supposed to tailgate. The one time I went down to Bloomington, we were going to tailgate, and it was the hurricane that ran through Nashville.
Yeah.
When we were there. Irma? No, Mildred? Mil?
Oh.
It's been too many natural disasters lately, guys.
Helene. Came through Carolina. Yep.
That old gal. Yeah, so we didn't tailgate, but we still went to the game. And then I went to IU playing Ohio State, and that was really underwhelming because I was sold that was like this amazing, magical place, and it's just fine.
Don't tell Graham that.
He's so pissed.
Don't tell Graham.
Oh,
that.
The shoe's amazing. This is fine.
We got time for one more. Archie O'Reilly, go ahead and chime in here, and we'll wrap things up.
Thanks, Dave. Hi, Alex. I think a few people have asked this today to various drivers, but I'd just like to get your take on kind of the discussion about maybe a new car in 2027. Just what do you believe?
Man, it's happening.
It's happening. Okay, so what do you believe are kind of the keys that they kind of need from this new car compared to what there has been for the last however many years?
I have to weigh my answer to not get in trouble. Here's the thing, and I've actually talked to quite a few people at length about this. There's some people that have the belief that it needs to be this super futuristic, crazy looking, ultra modern car, right? There's other people that's like, okay, it needs to be this super light, high horsepower thing that does like track records everywhere. Okay. Ultimately, what I think needs to be done is we already have, and I don't think it's a debate, we already have the best product on track that exists globally. So to reinvent the wheel, I don't think is something in my mind that needs to be done. I think it needs to be an evolution of the car we've had. Obviously, technology has developed, materials have developed. We have added a lot onto the DW12. So integrating all of that is going to have benefits from a cost standpoint, from a safety standpoint, from a workability standpoint for the mechanics, to have things that fit and flow and work a bit better together. But ultimately, I don't think we need to do anything that's beyond what we already do, because I think what we already do is pretty good. It just needs to be an updated version of what we have. So that's my opinion.
And have you seen the initial plans of what they're kind of planning? You have. Are you allowed to share any thoughts on that?
Probably not.
That's fine.
Okay. You've got another 20-odd drivers to ask that question too, so I'm not going to be that guy.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.